So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So yeah, earlier today I had a video up about Luffy Crew's final tap, so I'm not going to talk too much about it here. It's obviously totally insane, so check that out if you want more info about that. Today, in this video, I'm just going to focus on the skills of Luffy Crew. Then I go into some good support you can use with them. Then some captains you could hybrid up with if you want. And finally, just a few subs. And if you watched my earlier video, you might think that I'm quite infatuated with this unit, that I'm like up in arms in love, but I am actually quite critical of this unit. I have several issues. So it's like, this is this, that is that. So yes, sure, super cool final tap and everything, but yeah. Anyway, classes, Fighter, Free Spirit, Classic Luffy. Luffy's strength, the Straw Hats are Dex. Well, it is the Straw Hats, but the sprite is just Zoro, and then it's just Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei attacking, so it doesn't really feel like the Straw Hat Pirates, to be honest. But yeah, in single form, Luffy is a 4.75 times captain. Zoro and the rest is 4.5 or 5 times attack if you have a matching orb. And yeah, otherwise they are basically the same. And then when you combine, you get 5 times attack, 5.25 times attack if you have a matching orb. And of course we have the new gimmick that this Luffy Crew character has that everybody are excited about. It's the fact that they turn all type and class buffs into rainbow buffs. So if you use, say, versus Akaino's buff as a sub to Luffy Crew, it's not a driven and powerhouse ore boost, it's a rainbow ore boost, for example. And yeah, obviously that's super cool, but I'll go into it a bit later why I'm not as excited about that as I should. They also have some nice healing, 1000 in single form, 2000 HP in duo form. The big deal about this unit for many is the special, which is quite insane on paper. They deal 300 times attack in non-type damage to all enemies, changes all slots including block to rainbow, gives a 2 times attack boost, ore boost, and color affinity boost, as well as a 0.8 chain boost for 2 turns. But after you've used this special, you can't add any more beneficial effects, and this special only has this effect if you already have none or max 1 positive effect beforehand. So I talked about versus Akaino before. So like versus Akaino does a chain lock and an ore boost. So if you use versus Akaino first, you get 2 positive effects. This one doesn't work. To be fair, we need to wait and see a bit with the chain lock, since often in the game it's not counted as a positive buff. So we'll see a bit how that works out. But in general, that's how it works. And like if you have already used this effect, or if you can't meet the condition, instead you extend the duration of any beneficial effect by 1 turn and locks the orbs for 2 turns. And becomes duo form for 3 turns. So yeah, very cool. The swap is pretty boring, but does the job. Removes slot bind paralysis on the own unit, changes own orb, including block, into matching. And then when you get the super swap, which is just 4 swaps, you also remove paralysis and ship bind by 4 turns. Yeah, pretty decent, can't complain. And they also have a great sailor that ignores special bind. So yeah, you might think here, like, this unit sounds absolutely busted. What issues can you possibly have with it? Okay, if we start with the captain, sure. In a vacuum, it's absolutely insane. Like turning any boost, any color or class boost into rainbow. But like if you think about normal content, you don't really need to have many stages where you need to use specials for damage. And if you run double Luffy Crew, they do everything with their specials. So while this is a super cool captain, it's wasted on like the worst possible captain. This would have been a much cooler captain on a support focused captain with like a high multiplier or something. Now it's just like, yeah, sure, for longer content, but we don't get new hard content anymore. It's very frustrating to balance. Like, sure, it would be fun when I do some Forest Team or Duffy 2, Rover 2, stuff like that, but such a wasted opportunity. Another issue I have is that this unit is just boring to build with. You have one unit that does every attack buff you need by itself, so basically just put utility on the team, maybe some CD reduction to speed it up. That's basically it. Another issue I have, which I didn't mention in the captain, is that they reduced their own CD by 4, which sounds super good. But this is actually pure BS, because if you look at the CD, it's 16 CD. They artificially made the CD super high, so they can add this to the captain to make it sound super good. And then this just ruins Luffy Crew as a sub, because suddenly you have a 16 CD sub. You don't really run units like that. Sure, we have some support that can help, but that really made me very disappointed. I also think the swap is kind of meh, but it's not useless, at least it has uses, so that's good. Obviously, this is a bit weighted up by Final Tap, and I think this unit is still interesting as a sub, but yeah, I think he's pretty boring, gimmick isn't impactful enough, and there are actually some issues with him, which is actually a bonus, I'd say, since, yeah, some units do like more than one positive effect, so it's hard to pair them up with units. We'll see that a bit when we look at hybrid caps. First, we're going to look at support, and all supports I mentioned here also work for the OG Straw Hat Paris, who is in the picture here. I have him together with Mr. Tree, of course, the GOAT support, and this will be a GOAT support for Luffy Crew as well. But I have 20 other supports to showcase, who will have known that the 10 Straw Hats has a lot of support. But yeah, here first we have the Barto. If the enemy does attack boost, you get damage threshold, does some HP healing, super clutch support. Mr. 1 reduces paralysis when you use the special. Opera reduces the spear when you use the special. We have Pedro, you get some attack down and the spear reduction. And then we have Sabo, just if you want some more damage. So yeah, a lot of versatile options. I've tried to like pair them into logical groups, these 20 supports, but it's not that easy. I also decided to not make this segment too long, so I made it like 1 minute per 5. So 4 minutes in total. So yeah, I'm not really sure what tempo I should talk in. I went through this super fast. So now I know I have a little bit more time to talk for the next batch. But yeah, supports that activate when you want to, when you use the special, is very useful. Next batch, we have the new V4 Boa. If you get decreased chain, you get a free 2.75 times chain lock for 1 turn. Simply amazing. Neptune is similar, but he just reduces decreased chain by 3 turns. Then I have 3 supports that in some way remove the 5 defensive buffs for enemies. First we have Conis. If you hit a perfect, you remove 1 turn of death up. You can also use Bath Carrot if you have it. It's the same but 2 turns. Mihawk reduces 3 turns of Rainbow Shield when you use a special. You can also use the limited rare recruit Viola support, who is the same, who removes 1 turn when you hit a perfect. Finally, Treasure Map rare recruit Hyogoro removes 2 turns of damage threshold and attack down when you use the special. So yeah, all of these are super good supports to have. So yeah, Conis and Hyogoro are a bit limited, and some of them are legends, so yeah. Here are some supports that activate when you get some debuff. Really, removes 2 turns of bind, the spear paralysis. Ace removes 3 turns of bind, super powerful. Then we have Neko, who removes 2 turns of attack down and bind. Tashigi removes 2 turns of attack down. And then we have Bart, who removes 3 turns of paralysis. And yeah, you might think, why both Tashigi and Neko? But like, Neko is both bind and attack down, so if you get like bind stage 4, Neko activates. If you only want to remove attack down, Tashigi is just better in this scenario. Pretty likewise for Ace, but Ace just removes more bind as well. And there are plenty more supports like this, like the Otama on Luffy, stuff like that. Whew. Here's the last batch. Germa can be useful for like a stage 3 that changes your orbs. You get a full board of tandem orbs and make them beneficial. Brûlé, I don't think any explanations are needed. One of the best supports in the game. And Straw Hats can run her. Also gets reduced CD and changed block orbs. Sora also reduces CD final stage and is a more accessible option for sure. Also gives you a tandem orb. Leo reduces your CD when you get it reduced and you counter it by 2 turns. So that's pretty damn good. You can also use the Mystum support limited rare recruit who does it by 3 turns instead. And then finally we have yet another Barto. This time it's the Kizuna Barto who just gives you a 50% damage reduction whenever you use a special. And those are really useful since it's often not worth to run units just for damage reductions, so just get it for free is very good. Now for some hybrid capped options. A lot of these are kind of questionable, I might add. Not carrot though. I don't think any explanation are needed. You get the team becomes faster, you ignore defensive effects, you reduce CD even more with special. Special is also very good for like stage 3 and such. Maybe even stage 4 since you run it in a hybrid. So yeah, very solid captain together with Luffy Crew, I must say. Also benefits from Luffy Crew having a pretty high multiplier. Versus Ace, free spirit captain, so works with Luffy Crew. You have access to the burn, which is the main selling point. Can also probably use his special to just beat stage 4 by itself. So yeah, pretty good synergy. You also get the special reverse immunity, of course. Or 10 turns, not immunity. So yeah, should pair pretty well with Luffy Crew. Moving on, Odin. I'm obviously talking about 6+ Odin, who is the insane 5 times attack rainbow buff. But yeah, the main thing about Odin is trying to get 1 orbs in some way, to get more damage that way. Sadly, you can't use Odin's special before Luffy and get a higher orb boost, because Odin also has his other buff, changing orb buff. So since he has 2 buffs, you can't use Luffy Crew's special. This was mostly for fun, but I think it's pretty decent. We have the other Strength X Luffy Zoro here, the Wii one might say. And yeah, basically you just get free 1 orbs when you hit with type effectiveness. So it can be pretty fun against Dex or Quick content to just have guaranteed 1 orbs. And they do benefit from Luffy Crew having super high attack, of course. And their special is good enough that they can probably carry stage 4 by itself. And yeah, this was mostly for fun. I realized now when recording that this doesn't actually work that well. My logic was that you could get the Shame multiplier from super type and then use Luffy Crew special. But as you'll see, that doesn't work. Because not only do you get the Shame multiplier, you get the tap timing buff. So that's 2 positive buffs. You can't combine that with Luffy Crew. So I was a bit sad when I saw that, but I was like, I am not redoing a 15-minute video. Moving on. Here's a bit better Sabo and Ace. Sabo and Ace. Yeah, I don't think this needs to be explained. Works out in classes wise. Resist 2 common debuffs. Get some matching orbs. You have a Luffy on the cream for the team for the special. And you can even use the special on stage 4 and still use Luffy special final stage. Since you only have 1 positive buff, which is the orb boost. And we have Luffy, and my logic here was mostly that Luffy Crew is strength and dex, this Luffy is quick. So with these you can cover quite a few colors, which can be useful sometimes. Also does quite the attack boost, so if like the stage 4 boss is strength, this Luffy can just destroy it by itself. Yeah, this wasn't the most inspirational pick, if I may say so. This is pretty more interesting though, Vivi. Since her special has actually pretty good synergy. Since if you say Luffy Crew stage 4, you can use Vivi, you lock the orbs and you extend the orb boost. So for final stage you at least have the rainbow orbs and a 2.25 times orb boost, which should help quite a bit, and you resist special bind. So yeah, pretty good synergy if I may say so. Finally, we have Roger. And yeah, the main reason to use Roger here is, of course, to resist the remove accumulated values effects. So if you run, say, Roger Captain, Luffy Crew, Friend Captain, maybe Luffy Crew Sub, you can get that 3 turns attack, orb, call affinity, chain boost, and then Roger just stops it from being removed. Probably not that optimal since Luffy Crew has insane CD, but you can get it lower with like Mr. Tree support. Finally, Yamato. The main selling point with Yamato, in my opinion, first, it's the free orb lock with super type special. And then it's the special, which does increase damage taken, which is pretty nice since it applies to the enemy. So it doesn't really interfere with Luffy Crew's special in any way. But you need to be careful since her special does do 2 beneficial effects. It's the chain boost and the easier perfects. Here are some possible subs, and I'm going to go into it that much. The raid off is very nice if you run Luffy Crew as a Friend Captain and run a Driven or Cerebral as Captain, since you can just lock the orbs and extend the attack and the orb boost by 2 turns. So you keep the Rainbow Orbs, you keep the attack boost, orb boost. Pretty cool. Kusan is similar, but he just does a 1 turn attack and orb boost extension. But this means you can carry Luffy Crew buffs to final stage. Then I have some other subs that make use of the color and class specials being rainbow. Pure Spirit is a nice one. He usually was strength, dex, and quick only. Now he's a rainbow color affinity booster. Reduces CD, super good for speedrun teams, speeds the teams up a lot and adds extra damage. Law, pretty nice since you can use Law special and then use Luffy Crew because Law only does 1 buff. And it's a rainbow 2.75 times attack buff under Luffy Crew. And then increased damage taken is true normal attacks only, and it doesn't interfere with Luffy Crew. So quite an amazing sub, to be honest, at least if you want maximum damage. Finally, versus Akainu. Sadly, the special and versus special are a bit... since Akainu does 4 turns of both burn conditional and matching orbs, so might be hard to use, but will be super good for harder content. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.